We are down at Hayes Lane, the home of Bromley FC, for the launch of their David Bowie-inspired football kit. The lads will be wearing it today against Halifax in the National League. We have been given full access, so we're going to show you around the ground, hopefully get our hands on that brand new kit. The day started outside the main reception. This is the Halifax squad arriving after the 4.5-hour journey. To be fair, they probably stayed in a hotel. This lad was carrying the most important piece of equipment, the speaker. We then headed straight into the players' lounge. This is where they have their pre-match meal, watch the early kickoff, and if they fancy it, a little game of tech ball. Now this is the boardroom where all the big decisions get made. Player contracts, David Bowie-inspired kits, and they also have this epic view of the pitch. Whilst we go on the hunt and try and find the new shirt, here are some quickfire facts about Bromley FC. The club were established in 1892 and go by the nickname the Ravens or the Lily-Whites. They've been playing their football in the National League ever since they won the National League South in the 2014-15 season. Last season they won the FA Trophy, beating Hollywood's favourite football team, Wrexham, 1-0 in front of 46,000 people at Wembley. Look at this, we've actually found the FA Trophy. Look at the size of it, it's absolutely massive. Me and Scott managed to get our hands on it. We went to visit Hornchurch, and let me tell you, it is so heavy. Once we stopped drooling over the FA Trophy, we headed down the tunnel where the team sheets were flying all over the place. Then it was back out onto this glorious pitch, and check out the distance on these sprinklers. It's like a fireman's hose. You might be wondering why the kit is inspired by David Bowie. Well, he was raised in Bromley and has even visited Hayes Lane back in 1966 when he crowned 8 May Queens. Some of this squad behind me actually went and took a tour and visited some of the famous locations David Bowie has been at in this town. These are the original mood boards created by Mark Eads. You've got some of his early sketches inspired by David Bowie, and here is the winning design, worn by our very own 6'6" model, Scott. The striking green design was chosen by just shy of 500 supporters. We absolutely love it, but what does Bromley defender Chris Bush think of it?
I like the blend between the top into bottom. I think it's really nice, it's different, very different, and something that I wasn't expecting.
Who's your music icon?
Where do I start? Usher. I grew up on Usher. R&B boy by heart, yeah. Usher would be my favourite artist.
Have you got a favourite Usher song?
Probably be Superstar.
Have you got the moves to go with it?
Nah, I know where this is going.
What kind of music do you listen to in the changing room?
It varies. I think at the minute it's probably like R&B, hip-hop, a bit of house, Afro beats. It tends to be whoever the DJ is normally, and everyone likes different stuff, so a bit of mixture always keeps all the boys happy. After a quick tour of the home changing room, we were back down the tunnel. It was time to get a rendition of a popular Bromley song sung by the fans. This is Top of the Chants. In keeping with this music-themed video, we want to know if you could design a kit inspired by a famous musician, who would it be and why? Let us know in the comment section below. Every club needs a crest, and this is Bromley's. It's basically a modern design of the coat of arms. These are the sprig of brooms. I think they're sort of like flowers. The sun refers to the once important manor of Sunbridge. The shell is from the arms of the Sea of Rochester, and that has to be the White Horse of Kent. The wavy ravens in the middle refers to Ravensbourne River. I'll be honest, I don't completely understand everything, but that is what Google said, and I think you'll agree, it's a blooming lovely crest. From the club crest to the club shop, this is Scott's bargain of the week.
Right, so this is definitely one of the best non-league club shops I've ever seen, and there's plenty of items to pick from, but it was a pretty easy bargain to find this week. As well as the third Bowie shirt they've got on show, they've got some other items in the Bowie collection. We've got the mug. That's going to cost you £10, and the key ring, £2. Toss up between the two. I'm going to go for the mug.
For no reason at all, here's a shot of the refs warming up. They looking good, Nick. The fire hose went off again. Then we were treated to some decent finishes as the players got their eye in. But check out some of these incredible saves made by the goalkeeper. The legends at Bromley have given us access to all areas, which means we're allowed to be on the pitch as the players come out. This is a professional game in the National League. They're one off the Football League, and me and you are allowed on here with our cameras to do our bits. Come on, the location football. The match got underway in the sunshine. The first shot of the day from Halifax went narrowly wide. Then young Harry Forster whipped a delightful ball into the box, but the finish just went over. At this point, I thought this lad was going to volley it, but he teed it up for his teammate, but the shot went wide. Time now for Scott to try out some of the local cuisine.
Right, I'm feeling extra peckish today, and I saw something extra on the menu that got me very excited. Obviously, I've stayed loyal to the burger, but look at this. 6 chunks of chicken. This set me back £4. This was 6 for £3.50. So I'm going to go for a 3-word review of these beautiful nuggets. Ooh. Gourmet. Ooh, crispy. Golden.
And this is what the coaches do with the substitutes at half-time.
So I start with just little pitch runs across, start to get them moving again, and then get them in little rondos, get them activated, and then stretch the larger spaces again.
On the bench, I noticed you've got the iPad that's got all the information on it. Tell us a bit about that.
So we have a Stat Sports iPad, so that's just got your total distance, high-speed running, back cells, D-cell, sprints, so it just calculates their external load.
So basically you can tell when people aren't putting it in.
Yeah.
The second half got underway with Bromley on the attack, and a neat move led to the first goal of the game. And whilst these young lads were buzzing off Haribo, we popped into the changing room to speak to sports scientist Jacob.
Game's currently going on, and I'll come into the changing room and I'll sort out all the protein shakes for the boys after the game. Protein helps to rebuild their muscles after the game. If it's the toughest day of the week, they're running lots, they're hustling, they're battling out there on the pitch, and when they come back in, just a quick protein shake, they'll recover basically a meal's worth of protein just with a quick drink.
Back to the action then, Halifax immediately went on the attack, and after the initial header hit the bar, they bundled it over the line for the equaliser. Bromley pushed for the winner, but unfortunately just fell short. The fun didn't end there though, as we got to speak to the gaffer Andy Woodman and ask him some really important questions.
Did you have a music icon growing up?
I used to love UB40 to be honest, but I haven't heard much of that being played in my dressing room, I have to be honest.
The new third strip inspired by David Bowie. Were you a fan of his music growing up?
Some of it. I weren't too au fait with some of his outfits, I've got to be honest. David Bowie's an icon. For us to have a kit inspired by David Bowie is a nice romantic story, isn't it?
What was being played in the changing rooms when you were a player?
But when we got promoted at Crystal Palace, we used to have a song called Jump Around, House of Pain. That used to be our song.
The music's changed a little bit with the lads in there. What are your thoughts on what they play before games?
Well, I've got to be honest, I'm delighted when they go for a warm-up and to turn it off. Some of it's a bit hardcore. Some weeks I like it, other weeks I'm a little bit like, oh, our boys have got a mixed variation. So I think because we've had a couple of bad results lately, we keep changing the music up. So we might be country and western next week.